One more call. That's all it takes. One more call could be the difference between where you are and where you want to be. You know it. You feel it. Your gut says, do it. But your hand doesn't move. You stare at the number. You rehearse the opener. You fix the tone in your head. Then you second guess it, and you stop. You tell yourself, let me just adjust the script. Maybe I should rewrite that pitch one more time. I'll do it after lunch. I'll do it tomorrow. But you're not preparing. You're postponing. You're not polishing. You're protecting from rejection, from discomfort, from the possibility that someone will say no. Deep down, you think if I say it perfectly, they won't say no. But here's the truth. Perfection is a trap. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you frozen. It gives you just enough logic to justify the fear, and it feels productive, but it's not. Because you don't need a perfect pitch. You need reps. You need the call where your voice shakes. You need the call where you forget your line halfway through. You need the call where someone says, not interested, and hangs up. Because every one of those moments is a rep, and reps build momentum. Reps build confidence. Reps build clarity. Reps build grit. Reps build you. You don't get better by thinking about it. You get better by doing it over and over and over again, until what once terrified you becomes routine, until the fear has no choice but to shrink. Because you didn't wait for it to leave, you just moved anyway. And yeah, maybe you will get rejected. Maybe someone's cold. Maybe they say no. Maybe they hang up. Maybe they even seem annoyed. But let's be honest, so what? You didn't die. Your business didn't explode. The world didn't stop turning. And chances are, that rejection had nothing to do with you. Maybe their kid's sick. Maybe they're behind on rent. Maybe their wife is mad. Maybe their boss just reamed them out. And here you are, thinking their tone means you're not good enough? No, it's not about you. It's never been about you. You're just catching stray emotion. Wrong time, wrong mood, wrong moment. But don't let someone else's bad day make you doubt your entire path. They're not rejecting you. They're just reacting to their world. And on the other side of all that fear is everything you said you wanted. The business, the opportunity, the breakthrough, the proof. Not the proof that you're perfect, the proof that you kept going. So make the call, and then make the next one, and the next. Don't overthink. Don't wait for the stars to align. Don't wait until you feel ready, because ready doesn't come. It's built, one rep at a time. Your fear tells you one call won't matter, but it's wrong, because each call makes you stronger, each call makes fear weaker, and each call brings you closer to the moment everything shifts. Success isn't reserved for the fearless, it's waiting for the ones who call anyway. Stop editing, stop stalling, stop waiting, just start dialing. Because the next call is not just a call, it's a brick in the foundation of your future. And if you lay enough bricks, eventually you build something unshakable. That's part one. That's the fear. But what comes next? Here's what no one tells you. The first 50 calls are the hardest. Not because people are mean, not because your pitch is bad, but because your brain is screaming for safety. Because you're rewiring decades of avoidance in real time. Every time you dial, you're telling your nervous system, I don't need to be perfect. I just need to show up. And then something wild happens. The fear gets quieter. The stories in your head lose power. You start focusing on the person you're calling, not the panic in your chest. You stop analyzing every pause, every breath, every word, and you start connecting. And somewhere in call 17, or call 42, or maybe call 99, someone says yes. Not because you tricked them, not because your script was flawless, but because you showed up, with energy, with humanity, with consistency. That's the turning point. When you realize this whole game isn't about rejection, it's about resilience. It's not about saying the right thing, it's about being the right person, someone who won't back down after a no. Because the truth is, people buy confidence. People buy certainty. And that doesn't come from prep. It comes from action, reps, mistakes, recovery. You think the top earners in your industry got there by avoiding discomfort? No, they got there by leaning into it. Over and over and over again. They made the call, and then the next one, and the one after that. They showed up when they didn't feel like it. They kept going when the leads ran dry. They dialed through doubt, through fear, through failure. And in that grind, they built something unshakable. Momentum. Momentum doesn't come from motivation. It comes from motion, from action, from reps, from refusing to let a bad call define your effort. Because one no doesn't mean you're bad. One awkward call doesn't mean you're done. One rude person doesn't get to dictate your destiny. That's the power of reps. Eventually, something clicks. You stop asking, what if they say no? And you start asking, what if this is the one? What if this call, the one you were about to skip, is the breakthrough? What if they say yes? What if that yes opens the door? What if that door changes everything? You'll never know unless you dial. So make the next call. Not because it guarantees anything, but because it builds everything. That's the breakthrough. That's what happens when fear loses and you win. Call now and keep calling. Because your future isn't found in the perfect pitch. It's built in the reps.